Com. Let's return to the conversation with political analyst and presidential strategist and, of course, our own Newsmax contributor, Dick Morris, who is Skyping in tonight from Houston. And also with us, very gracious, a candidate for the presidency until fairly recently, former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee. And you see, scream left, the gentleman who is very much on the right. You see him every evening at 7 p.m. Eastern here on Newsmax TV, Steve Malzberg. Governor Huckabee, first to you with a question that comes up because of some of the issues discussed tonight, like being a, quote, honest broker involving Israel and the Palestinians, and the whole notion of the Supreme Court and religious liberty, and then, of course, Planned Parenthood. Mike, why does Donald Trump seem to have such a hold on evangelicals, especially when you cite those three issues seeming to cut against the grain of what evangelicals believe to be true?
That's a very legitimate question, and a lot of people in the punditry class just don't get it. But let me explain it in a simple term. Evangelicals know that Donald Trump is not one of us. I'm an unabashed evangelical. Everybody understands that. We all know Donald Trump is not one of us. But there's a perception that Donald Trump will fight for those rights and fight for us and won't let us be trampled over like has happened with Barack Obama. And it's really also a simple matter that evangelicals are not as monolithic. I've been saying this for years. People thought that I won evangelical vote in 2008. Actually, I didn't. I got a lot of them, but they split all over the place. A lot of them went with Romney. A lot of them went with Thompson. The fact is, evangelicals are not as predictable as a lot of people like to think they are. And often they will vote for the things that other people will vote for. They'll vote for their jobs. They'll vote for safe neighborhoods for their kids. They'll vote for educational fairness so their kids can go to school. Those are things that really matter to evangelicals. They may go to church, but they also live in a real world. And the things Donald Trump talks about, they care about.
Dick Morris, your take on that?
I think that we're missing the major effect of tonight's debate. This was the first debate that Donald Trump lost. It was the first time he was attacked heavily. It was the first time people slammed him. New York Times reported that out of the $500 million that's been spent on TV advertising so far, only $4.5 million has been directed against Trump. Well, tonight made up for it. Between Rubio and Cruz, they laid out a very strong and compelling case against Trump. Now, I have no experience with this, nor does anybody, because Trump has never been through this mill. In the past, accusations have bounced off him, but they haven't been pursued with this aggressiveness, with the level of paid media behind it, and with the attention of this debate stage. And the real question is, does Trump have a glass jaw? Can he take it or not? Will his vote remain impervious, as it's been to the minor shots he's had? Or will he really crater? And I don't know the answer to that. If he craters, or if he drops, Rubio did very well in picking it up. But let's remember that the establishment, anti-establishment divide that runs through the Republican Party makes Cruz and Trump fungible in their vote, and Rubio a completely separate question. And there are issues like amnesty that are so crucial to the Trump-Cruz voter that he'll never go to Rubio. And I think that we need to watch Super Tuesday to see if Trump craters. Cruz is outspending everybody else enormously in the Super Tuesday states, probably by an order of more than everybody else combined, almost 2-1. And it's going to be a very telling contest to see whether Trump can survive that or not.
Steve Malzberg, admittedly, what we're seeing from our viewers is non-scientific, but boy, Donald Trump has a lot of support. What is your take? Will Mr. Trump remain the Teflon Don? Will these charges and these attacks just bounce off?
Well, I couldn't agree with Dick's description and analysis more, but you took the words right out of my mouth. If you look at the Newsmax poll results that we have so far, if you look at Drudge, I mean, overwhelmingly they say that Donald Trump won the debate because these are Donald Trump supporters. And I know that, but that's but my point is,
organized phone banking.
I agree, but But who's going to change their opinion? If they were supporting Trump, is anybody going to change? Now, some people I think will go to Rubio because he was as strong as I've ever seen him. And as the governor alluded to, whether he was playing to the lobbyists, which is quite possible, or to the general audience, or both, I think he won the debate. I do think he won the debate. But how much will it matter?
Less than 2 minutes remain, and Governor Huckabee, we want you to get your 2 cents and more in on this. How frustrating was it to be on stage with a guy who seems to defy the political laws of gravity, so to speak? What is the Trump connection there?
Trump is like Michael Corleone. And if you remember the scene in Godfather 2, it's a great scene in which Senator Geary comes in and he says, now you're going to pay me and you're going to do this. And Michael Corleone says, no, I'm not going to pay you. In fact, you're going to pay me. I'm going to pay nothing for all those gambling licenses, and you're going to give me the money to pay for the application. And it was just one of those moments in which it was very clear that he was in charge. And I think a lot of people see Donald Trump as the Michael Corleone, and I mean that in a good, positive way, if there is such a thing. They see him as the guy who is tough, he takes nothing off anybody, and he's going to go and he's going to fight for America. And I'll tell you, people are sick of America being punched around and kicked, and what they see in Donald Trump is a guy that kicks their rear end all the way to the wall. And I think that's why he's winning.
Mike Huckabee, that's a very interesting analogy. Years past, Dwight Eisenhower was thought of as a grandfather. Now it's Donald Trump as the godfather, but in a good way. Listen, we want you all to hang in with us. Dick Morris from Houston, Mike Huckabee via Skype, and Steve Malzberg at Newsmax New York. In the interim, who do you think won the debate? We want you to weigh in on it. The way you do that is by going to newsmaxpolls.com. Stay with us. There's more after this timeout.